Let's pick another one here that probably most of the men want to talk about. Men want more sex.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
This is one of... Go ahead.
No, your survey, though, caught me off guard. When you, I'm going to try and jump ahead, 98% of men said getting more sex wasn't really the big deal. It was that they didn't feel desired.
Yeah.
That was very interesting for me.
What I realized is that we women, we know that men want more sex. That's not a surprise. What's a surprise? Honestly, I hate to say this. What's a surprise is that we don't really understand why. Now, men, when they hear that, they're like, what do you mean why? To a guy, it's self-evident. But what I realized is that we as women, we have got a fundamental misunderstanding about what physical intimacy means to our husbands. See, we think of physical intimacy in marriage as being primarily a physical need for him. That's sort of the category we put it in.
Right.
It's a physical need, it's a physical urge. And I've got 2 little children, and probably like a lot of the women in here, when you've been pulled on by little hands all day, sleep seems like a physical need too, right? And what I realized, though, as I was doing all these interviews and asking men, what's the importance of this in your life? What I heard from them had nothing to do with the physical, nothing. What I heard was this huge emotional need that they couldn't get met any other way. And Don said what the need is. It's the need that every man has to feel that his wife desires him and that she wants him. And if a guy, here's the key, ladies, if a guy feels that his wife desires him, it gives that man a sense of confidence and a sense of well-being in every other area of his life.
Well, that's so true. Why these books, I think, are incredibly helpful. Now, we've talked here about men and women. In a marriage setting, we have a lot of singles in our church here. And so let's go back and talk about premarital sex here. How does that all fit into the picture if I'm a single man or a single young woman?
Well, this is one of the reasons, actually, that we researched and wrote for young women only, because the whole idea of getting this as women in our teenage years, it really can help avoid a lot of heartache later, obviously. And we just finished the research and are in the middle of the editing process for young men only. And what we found as we were doing the research, I kind of thought, if there's this huge emotional ramification of having physical intimacy inside of marriage where it's designed, I wonder if there's an emotional ramification outside. I wonder what it is. And as an analyst, I had to be willing to hear things that I wasn't, expecting to hear.
Right.
But it was fascinating because the guys the guys in the survey for young women only who were 15 to 20, sort of teenage and 20 years old, they admitted that although they were the ones probably who were trying to talk their girlfriends into it, the minute that she did, they doubted, 2/3 of them said they doubted whether they could ever trust her again.
Restate that, because here's the guys again saying, if you really love me, you'll have sex with me.
Yeah.
But as soon as she then complied, thinking that's the way that he'll know I love her, 2/3 said, I'm not sure I can trust
her. And it's almost like the physical intimacy, like we talked about, that sense of, it's not about the sex, it's about feeling desired. And if that sense of feeling desired is so powerful to a man, that if that switch is flipped before it's time, outside of a committed covenant lifetime relationship, it's almost like something deep in a guy's heart starts worrying that she's going to go give that feeling to somebody else.
Wow.
That's the closest the guys could come to articulating what it feels like. So that's on the men's side, on the guys' side. On the young women's side, when we were doing the research for young men only, one of the other things was the girls, it was about 85%, some number like that, 85, 87% of the girls said that if they cross that line outside of, a marriage relationship, that it triggers that sense of insecurity we were talking about, because they know he's not committed to her, and it triggers that sense of, does he love me? And so what happens is that 85% of the girls start feeling possessive and clingy clingy and wanting to keep tabs on him, and all these things which make the average teenage boy go, "Ee!" That wasn't what I signed up for.
Wow.
But it shows that there's this massive emotional consequence, and I had never understood until I saw these statistics and this data. I'd never really understood really the main reasons why God says it should be in marriage. It's to protect us from those consequences.